Tammy Bruce, the president of the Independent Women's Voice and the host of Get Tammy Bruce on Fox Nation, which you should watch. She joins us tonight. So, Tammy, there was a study out recently that showed that if you wanted to reduce the amount of carbon in the atmosphere, the first thing you would do is you would plant trees, a lot of trees.
Sure.
And it says a kind of plausible conclusion, I thought. You heard nothing about this from Democratic politicians, I noticed. And could it be that's because planting trees would not increase their political power, so they're not interested in that?
Yeah, it's one of those things. Also, solutions. They're against solutions to things, because if you solve the problems, if you really solve the problems, what are they going to run on, right? What are they going to say to people? If you're going to run on the economy, you've got to run on conservative values, and they can't do that. So they want to set up things that are going to make sure that, the general problems that are existential threats, and then, the economic and wage divide, those things have to remain, Tucker. And it's because of the politics. A few people view us as expendable. And so that they want their power and fun and votes, and they think we're dumb. And they found out in 2016 that we're not. And we're the new woke. We're the ones who are tired of being lied to.
Very tired.
Yes.
So I want to ask you about a piece that just ran in The Atlantic, which at one point was a venerable magazine, and now it's obviously a joke. But the piece declared war on air conditioning. The New York Times published a big story in the history of AC. On Twitter, a writer called Taylor Lawrence responded by saying that air conditioning is, of course, a sexist tool of the patriarchy.
Of course.
She tweeted this, quote, "Air conditioning is unhealthy, bad, miserable, and sexist. I can't explain how many times I've gotten sick over the summer because of an overzealous AC, and offices ban AC." People disagreed. She called them sexist, too. So let me just say, I hate air conditioning. I'm kind of with her on that. But sexist? How is it sexist?
Well, the patriarchy is so strong, Tucker, that they've all colluded, and they've made it sure so that every building in America is going to be too cold for women. Now, when you've got that kind of power, I'm just wondering why they're allowing women in the offices at all. Right? How is it? And then here's the other issue. If they're that powerful, Tucker, they're making it too cold for women in the summer, but they're not doing it in the winter. And I'm wondering, wouldn't that be the best time to freeze women out of the office place? So I'm very confused, because I'm just a simple woman, it's embarrassing, of course. Now, we heard this first, you'll recall, when Cynthia Nixon, the actress, was running to be the governor of New York. Wasn't that what she was running for? And she obviously didn't win. Yeah. But she brought it up that it was the most sexist thing in the world. And it's because, look, women do dress differently than men. But there's a solution to this. First of all, it's not a plot, right? It's not some weird conspiracy plot that they keep, accusing Republicans of and conservatives. It would require maybe putting on a cardigan. And I'm thinking maybe that's why they don't get cold in the winter, because they're wearing maybe heavier clothes. But for the sexist thing here is this presumption, is this argument like this young woman made from The Atlantic, that it's because she gets sick. And it just highlights how the left, and especially if you're immersed in identity politics, you don't think of anybody but yourself, because air conditioning makes life worth living. Charles Cook over at National Review reminded us in 2003, the summer of 2003, almost 15,000 French people died because of the heat, and it affects, of course, the elderly, the infirm, and here in America, the poor, of course, the southern poor, relying on air conditioning in order to actually live. But that young woman, because I guess she didn't want to tell anybody to replace the filters in the air conditioning, maybe she wouldn't get sick, and God forbid should we have to on occasion wear a blazer so that we don't get nailed by the air conditioning. It is worth thinking beyond ourselves. When you're in a large office, not everyone's going to be happy. You're going to have to adapt and compromise sometimes, God forbid. But I think we can. And the sexist argument, though, and behavior is in this presumption that you're a child and everybody's got to listen to you and you've got to have everything exactly perfect for you. That's the sexist behavior. And maybe some of these young women will realize that being independent and taking care of your environment and adapting gives you more power and more control over your environment in the long run. Just a thought.
Malignant narcissism. That's a phrase you introduced me to, and I think of it every day watching what's happening.
That's exactly what this is.
Great to see you tonight.
Thank you, sir. Great.